Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today I want to talk about exactly what is my net worth today, but also how has my net worth grown over the years. Now, as you guys may know, right now I'm 23 years old, but I started working since I was around 11 years old. So from 11 to 23, I'm going to show you my net worth and how it's changed over the years. But by the way, I always love watching these pictures, for example, on Instagram, but like Warren Buffett showing me like, hey, he was worth this much money at age 12 or 13, and now he's worth, for example, 70 to 80 billion dollars. I always love those pictures, so why not make a video about it? Plus, I saw Graham make this video also, and I got motivated to also make this video, and that's why I'm also making it, okay? Now, the first thing, guys, if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button so you get updated every time I post a new video. Now, guys, let's get started and go all the way from 11 years old making money all the way up to 23 years old. Now, the first thing is this, guys. When I was 11 to 12 years old, my net worth was around $1,000. Tell me, how the heck was your net worth $1,000? Well, the answer is I did a lot of things to make money when I was 11 to 12 years old, okay? Now, the idea is this. At the time, all I wanted to do was make money in order to basically go out there and buy the video games I actually wanted to buy. Now, here's what I did, guys. I basically did 3 gigs. I had to work at a supermarket, and I got paid around $60 every single day. Well, my actual paycheck was around like maybe $20 every single day, maybe like 30 bucks every single day. But in reality, because I was only 11 years old and I looked so cute, I got paid so much money in tips, you wouldn't believe it, okay? And I would take most of the money and go buy video games, but I would take mostly maybe like a quarter of the money or so and go ahead and buy some blank DVDs. Now, why? The answer is I would sell movies at school. Tell me, how do you get that idea? Well, I used to see this lady on the corner every single day selling DVDs, and that was her full-time job. And she used to sell for around like between $15 to $20. So I said, well, why don't I undercut her and sell it for $10? And trust me, people were buying, but I only sold around 3 because basically like, the movie quality back then was like very, very bad, okay? I only sold like around 3. But on top of that, I would also sell my lunch every single day for like around $5 a pop, like a burger. On top of that, I would also sell things with my friend there. His name was Teniel, and he would sell like paper planes to kids in like 1st grade for like $5 or $3 a pop, okay? I was making some money. But all the money I made, I would spend it on video games. And by the way, I remember back then, basically what I did was this. I bought my first video game on my own with my own money. And I felt so good buying it, and I felt so bad when I played it for 4 hours and the game was completely done. It was finished. I wanted more playtime, but I didn't get that, okay? And I wanted to return it, but back then, when I was like 11 to 12 years old, there were no returns back then. And by the way, I think I'm actually exaggerating $1,000. It might have been closer to me, like maybe like 700 or maybe like 900, because I did have a lot of games and a lot of consoles. For example, PSPs, I had DS's, I had every single console because I bought every single thing I could buy, okay? So that's how I got the number all the way to $1,000 at age 11 to 12. But again, I only made money to spend money. Very bad idea. Now, from age 15 to 16, my net worth was around between $1,000 to $2,000. Now tell me, what happened to 13 and 14? The answer is, at that time, I was living in Puerto Rico, and all I did was basically, I joined a clan on the gaming community, for example, like Call of Duty, and I just played there back and forth for hours. I wasn't really making any money. But from like 15 to 16, I came to New York, and that's when I got exposed to consumerism, okay? Every single person that I saw had on like the coolest clothes and looked very cool, and I was like, you know what, I want to look just like this guy. So I spent most of the money I made by flipping things and buying and reselling. I spent all that money mostly, and I will sell my video games back and forth too to make extra money. I basically spent all that money on buying clothes, looking fancy, and at one point I even bought myself a Gucci belt. Now, Gucci belts are like 350 bucks a pop, but guess what? I bought a fake one for 50 bucks and it had the serial number on it and everything. And I looked so cool, but everything else was real, like my sneakers, everything was real. I'm not proud of that, by the way, of like having like real sneakers, whatever, because basically such a waste of money, okay? But I'm not I'm not proud of the fake thing either. That's like the only fake thing I ever bought in my life, but it was 350 bucks and I bought it for 50 bucks and no one can prove that it was fake back then, okay? Because it looked so real and it had a serial number on it. Now, at that time, all of my money went towards looking cool. So that's why it didn't change that much from like 1,000 at age 11 to 12 to like 15 to 16, still worth like 1,000 to 2,000 because all the money I made was to look cool. I bought the Beats, I bought the latest game consoles, I bought the latest sneakers, I bought the fake Gucci belt, but I looked pretty cool with it. I bought everything I could to look cool because I thought that was the only way to fit in. If you guys notice here, I went from one place to the next place to the next place. New York, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, okay? So I always felt like I needed to fit into whatever like culture it was. And at the time, the culture where I was in school and here in the US was very like, hey, let's spend all our money on clothes and looking cool, when in reality, we're all broke here and we're all teenagers and we never have any money, okay? Let's just be honest here. And by the way, guys, today, all I have is like a $20 belt my girlfriend bought me for my birthday at Zara, okay? Now, it's a pretty good belt. It's full leather, it's nice, and guess what? Do I care about having a Gucci belt? The answer is no. Obviously, biggest waste of money, even if it was 50 bucks on anything I ever spent in my life, okay? It was so stupid. Now, from 17 to 19, this was a time when I actually went to college. Now, when I was in college, basically, by the way, guys, I graduated 1 year early, and that was awesome, okay? And I went to a college that allowed me to graduate also early. So I graduated, I did everything a lot earlier than the average person. Now, the idea was that while I was in college, I had 3 main jobs, okay? I was basically working at the Gap, the clothing store. I made some money there, seasonal. And I also work at my school doing work study. And I also did my own flipping on the side. And I was also doing daily vlogging back then also while I was at school. So I did all those things while at school. And I was making a ton of money. Like around maybe like $2,000 to $3,000 every single month. And you might say, Tommy, wow, that's a lot of money being a college student. The answer is, well, if you thought I was bad in high school spending a lot of money, well, I took that fake Gucci belt to college also, and I bought literally like around 2 pairs of sneakers every single week, okay? So that's around 8 pairs every single week, and they were around like $150 to $200, okay? So I spent a lot of money, again, trying to look cool. And my net worth back then was around $20,000 from 17 to 19. Tommy, how the heck is that possible? Well, the answer is it got to a point where I lost my work study job because I did way too many hours. The Gap job was seasonal. They did not call me back because basically I was not happy at that job whatsoever. They didn't call me back. They called back all the girls though, but not the guys. They only kept one of us guys. Very weird, right? Not really. Like, we just did not like the job, okay? We were very bad at it. But I did learn how to fold my clothes, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. But the idea was that basically, okay, once I lost both those jobs, all I had was $5,000 that I invested and was paying me around 60 bucks every single week, okay? That's all the money I had. And I was so broke. And I was like, I went to school every single day to college, and everyone was like, yo, Tommy, you're so fly, you look so cool, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I am cool, right? But I have no money in my wallet. All I have is a closet full of liabilities and no money whatsoever. And that's when things clicked. And when things clicked, I started to learn more about the stock market, and I started to read every single day about money, how it works, how to budget, and how to create more wealth. So by the time I had my other job, when I actually came back, my work study, and also I got like the flipping actually going like crazy, because by the way, guys, back then, flipping phones and sneakers was making me between like $300 to sometimes even $1,000 a week, okay? So I was making a decent amount of money from it, okay? Now, my work study paid me like around $1,000 to $1,200 every single month, but my flipping business was making me a lot of money. So basically, with that $5K I had on the side, I saved up another $5K, and on top of that, I also borrowed $10K to kickstart a business. And that's how I had a net worth of around 20K. Tommy, that's borrowed money. You don't really have it. Well, it made me a lot of money, and that's why I'm including it here. Now from age 20 to age 21, I was worth around $40,000. And the answer was around this time period, I actually graduated from college. I was doing a lot of flipping, but on top of that, when I graduated, I actually got a job that was not according to my degree. As you guys may know, I'm an accountant. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. And the answer was basically, I did not want to get a normal accounting job because basically, if I got that job, knowing myself, I would get very complacent. I would keep the job and forget about everything else. So I wanted to get a job basically that I knew for a fact I was going to hate. And that way I would come up with solutions to how to get out of that job and kind of solve my problems. Bad strategy, not the best, I know, but it made a lot of sense to me back then. And the answer was, I remember 3 main things here. I was working basically at a company. It was a data entry company, and they paid me around 480 bucks. My business side, I was basically helping small businesses with their accounting, their books, promising notes, and getting them extra money. And that was paying me between 280 bucks when I was like 20 to later on, I ran 21 towards the end, around $1,400 every single week. Now, there are 3 main things I want to tell you guys probably don't know here, okay? When I was working that job, I was on a bus literally for around 3 hours every single day, back and forth. And that's why I hated that job so much. And I started to have so many ideas about other things that I could possibly be doing. And during this time, that 3 hours, I took it to read, and learn. And also, during this time period, I sold all my camera equipment and said, you know what, I'll figure out YouTube later. I want to stop doing it for now, blah, blah, blah. Because back then, the year prior, when I was in college, I was doing daily vlogging. But I stopped because basically, I wasn't happy with the content I was making, like at all. Like I was doing content on comedy, anime, gaming, news channel, a whole bunch of things, pranks, things that I just didn't really like doing whatsoever. But I did it because basically it was trendy and all this stuff. But when you don't like doing something, you won't go that long actually doing it. And the last thing I remember is that basically during this time period, this guy right here is, well, this guy right here is actually my dad. And this is me right here. And back here, this picture, this painting is also my dad. And that's why I have that back there. But during this time period right here, I actually lost my dad. And the last conversation I had with him was basically, I told him I graduated, I had a job, and I was making money for my business. And he told me that's all great, but if you don't like doing the job you're doing, just do what you actually love to do. And he told me, I always thought that what you love to do was computers and stuff like that. And I told him, yeah, you're right, you know, but I didn't really care. I wasn't gonna stop making money. But when I lost my dad, everything changed, you know, like it went from like, yeah, you know, I should do what I like to do, but I'm still gonna make this money here. But when I lost my dad, I quit my job, I bought all my equipment back, and I basically just said, you know what, if this is what I want to do, and it's just like to create videos and make content, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, you know? And during that time, I went back to the Dominican Republic. I kind of settled down with my roots and my family, just like kind of came to a conclusion like, hey, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. I don't care about pranks or the vlogs or the gaming channel or the drama channel. By the way, if you watched that content back then, thank you guys so much. But I hated doing that content, okay? So when I came back, I said, what do I like doing? What do I want to talk about? And what can I talk about every single day without getting bored about it, okay? And that was finance. That was money. That was how do you go out there and get your freedom. And that's when I started making my content around money, around how to make more money, around credit cards, around finances. And that stuff, man, it made me so happy. So in a way, my dad was definitely right. And in a way, I wish it never happened, of course, but in a way, it was a blessing, you know? So it's a bad, but it's good to know that basically my dad had an effect when it came to like, hey, who I am as a person today. So that's awesome. And I appreciate him and I love him for that also. Okay, so there you go. A little sad, I know, but let's resume this video. Now, by the way, although I quit my job, I did not quit my business because that way I knew that, hey, I can make money from here on my own time, but I could also make my YouTube videos and focus on that also. And that was awesome. Now, at age 22, my net worth was around $100,000. Now you might say, Tommy, how the heck did you go from 40,000 to 100K? The answer is, you know, I think the main reason was basically because I stopped focusing on the money that I was making and I started focusing on all the help I can do for people. It's kind of like going from like, hey, my customer can give me money, but what can I do for my customer? And I just focused on that. And basically, I started to make a lot of money from my business and also from YouTube. YouTube was making me like around $3,000 every single month. And on top of that, my business was making me at one point grossing around $14,000 every single month. But net, it was around like $6,000, okay, at age 22. And that was enough money, for example, to be like, hey, you know what? I'm done with YouTube. I'll keep doing my business and just grow it and grow it and grow it. But that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was basically use the business to kind of help me like stay afloat while I did my YouTube thing and got it together. That was the idea. And by the way, the minute I made my first video on finance, that's when I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. I actually provided value and actually helped someone out there. And the more value you provide, the more you help, okay? If you want to be an entertainer and you actually get value by entertaining people, that's awesome, but that's not what I wanted to do, so that's why it didn't work out for me. But when it came to money and helping people with money, that felt so accomplishing to me. And I focused on how many people can I help, not how many people can pay me and all that stuff. Now, by the way, towards the end of 22, my YouTube channel started paying me like around $10,000 per month also. And my business was also paying me a ton of money. So that's how I got all the way to like 100K, just so you guys know. Now, at age 23 today, guys, I'm actually worth around $247,000, and that's my net worth, so assets minus liabilities, okay? And that's the idea here. And I'm focusing on two main things right now, and that's basically making more content, learning a lot more, to help you guys learn a lot more also, because that's my whole goal when it comes to YouTube. What can I learn and what can I help you guys learn to go out there and make more money, or help you guys with your finances, and also help you guys with freedom? Because if you are paycheck to paycheck, that's not freedom, and that's what I want to kind of like eliminate. I want to give everybody the opportunity to learn more about finance for free, by the way, okay? On top of that, guys, my main thing now is to basically slow down on my side business that was making me around like $14,000 gross every single month. But Tommy, why give up that income? The answer is the goal that business had was to basically carry me while I was actually doing my YouTube thing has been achieved. It did its job. It did a great job. And while doing that business, I basically helped a ton of people. I made a lot of money, yes, but the goal of that business has been achieved. And right now, what it's doing is distracting me from my real goal, which is basically YouTube. So the goal has been achieved, and that's why I'm willing to kind of like put it aside now and kind of carry out my business of just doing YouTube and achieving my goal and doing what I want to do. And by the way, guys, one thing is this, okay? Key takeaway here. When I was 11, 12 to 15 to 16 to 18, my goal was always to, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this amount of money. My goal was always like very selfish, okay? I wanted this much money to go out there and buy this game. Now, is that selfish for 11-year-old? Maybe not, but you guys get my point here. But when I started to focus on basically what can I do for someone else to help them out and help out a lot of people, that's when I started to make a lot more money. And by the way, guys, although money is extremely important, it's the backbone of our society, the answer is what you do for money is 10 times more important. Because basically, you spend your time to get a piece of paper. Your time, you can never get it back, but you can always get money, okay? There's a lot of money out there. So the entire idea is this. My main recommendation is go out there and figure out what you like doing and do it to the best of your abilities and try to help as many people as you possibly can by doing that thing you're doing, and you're going to get a lot of money, okay? Money comes, but you have to make sure what you're doing is gonna give people value. When I was 11 years old and making content, and 17 and 18 making content, and I wasn't helping anyone, I wasn't making any money. But when I started to help more people and do more things, although in the beginning I made no money, eventually hard work pays off. And that's why I make these t-shirts, okay? Because basically hard work pays off, and wealth is also extremely important. And don't let anyone tell you money is not important. Money is very important, but what you do for money is even more important, okay? So just keep that in mind. And overall, guys, you know, although it took me a very long time to find out like, hey, what exactly do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? And how am I going to do it? Once it clicks, it clicks. The only way to figure it out is by basically going out there and trying several different things. I went from groceries, DVDs, gaming channels, drama channels, Gap, work study, accounting, all this stuff. By the way, I'm not gonna forfeit my accounting degree. I'm gonna use it for other things also, like to analyze businesses and for my finances and also for my entire investment portfolio. But that's about it, okay? But as far as that, that's about it. But the whole thing is, guys, find out exactly what you want to do, what you're good at, and also what's going to make you money and how many people can you actually help. But guys, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. On top of that, I hope this video gave you some ideas. For example, flipping, having side hustles, having jobs, and saving that money, invest in it. That's the whole goal here. And as always, if you like this video right here, well, like it. On top of that, also, if you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, just DM me on Instagram, TommyBryson, or for example, subscribe to my Patreon, link down below. Or on top of that, if you want to watch another video basically on how I invest my money, watch the video right here. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.